When you think about mob-run casinos, your mind probably jumps to the glittering strip in Las Vegas, or maybe to Havana in the 1950s before the revolution shut it down. But there's another, lesser-known chapter in that same story, one that played out far from neon lights and desert heat. It happened in a quiet mountain setting, tucked away along the shores of Lake Tahoe. At first glance, it was a glamorous resort and casino where Hollywood royalty went to escape. But behind the scenes, the CAL NEVA Lodge and Casino became a subtle outpost for organized crime, where deals were made in hushed voices and the line between celebrity and underworld blurred more than most people realized. The CAL NEVA Lodge was born in the early 1920s, right on the California-Nevada border. That location wasn't just picturesque, it was strategic. Guests could literally step across a painted line in the lobby and move from one state to another. During Prohibition, the remote setting and unique jurisdiction made it a magnet for wealthy travelers, risk-takers, and the occasional shady character looking to lay low. Its earliest years were full of rumors about liquor being smuggled in through back entrances, with drinks served behind closed doors to those who knew the right people. In 1937, the original lodge burned to the ground in a fire that could have ended its story for good. But in a testament to just how valued it was by its owners and patrons, the CAL NEVA was rebuilt in just 30 days. That fast turnaround cemented its reputation not just as a luxury destination, but as a place that would always survive, no matter what. By the 1950s, it had fully embraced its role as a retreat for the rich and famous, attracting names like Marilyn Monroe, Dean Martin, and the Rat Pack. The property's location offered both seclusion and sophistication, perfect for celebrities avoiding the press, or for businessmen who didn't want certain meetings to be public knowledge. Frank Sinatra, already one of the most famous entertainers in the world, purchased a controlling interest in the lodge in 1960. He envisioned it as more than just a casino. It would be an elite playground where A-list stars, political figures, and high rollers could mingle without the public gawking. But Sinatra's business decisions weren't just about hospitality. Among his investors was Sam Giancana, the notorious Chicago mob boss. Their friendship was well known in certain circles, and Giancana's involvement gave CAL NEVA a quiet but direct link to organized crime. For the mob, CAL NEVA was an ideal asset. Las Vegas was under constant surveillance from law enforcement and the Nevada Gaming Control Board. But up in Tahoe, tucked between pine trees and clear blue water, the casino could operate with less visibility. Giancana's presence was mostly behind the scenes, but his influence on the property was undeniable. While the front-facing side of CAL NEVA was all about luxury, celebrity shows, private suites, fine dining, its back corridors and hidden spaces told a different story. One of the lodge's most enduring legends is the network of underground tunnels. These passageways, some dating back to Prohibition, connected Sinatra's personal cabin to the casino, performance spaces, and certain guest rooms. The tunnels allowed high-profile guests, or figures who didn't want to be seen, to move around the property without drawing attention. Whether it was Giancana meeting with associates, a Hollywood star avoiding the press, or a private deal being made, the tunnels were perfect for discretion. But secrecy has a shelf life. In 1963, Giancana's presence at CAL NEVA became public knowledge when he was spotted at the lodge during a period when he was officially banned from Nevada casinos. The Nevada Gaming Control Board took this seriously. Having a known mob figure linked to a licensed casino was a violation of gaming laws. Sinatra's gaming license was suspended, forcing him to close the lodge's celebrity room and eventually sell his interest. It was a sharp fall for a property that, just months earlier, had been one of the most glamorous spots in the country. After Sinatra's departure, CAL NEVA went through a series of owners. It lost some of its shine, but it never lost its mystique. The stories of its mob connections, celebrity guests, and secret tunnels became part of its permanent identity. For decades, it sat somewhere between living legend and faded memory, renovated here and there, occasionally revived, but never quite recapturing its Rat Pack glory. In more recent years, billionaire Larry Ellison purchased the property with plans for a full-scale renovation. The idea was to bring it back as a luxury resort for a new generation. But even with modern upgrades, the place still carries the weight of its past. You can't walk those halls, see that painted state line on the floor, or hear the whispers about Sinatra and Giancana without feeling the shadows of another time. The Cal Neva story says a lot about how organized crime moved in mid-century America. The mob didn't always rely on violence to get what it wanted. Sometimes it relied on charm, connections, and a little bit of geography. In LA, Vegas, and Tahoe, those lines often blurred, especially when celebrities were involved. For Los Angeles, the link to Cal Neva is a reminder of how deeply Hollywood and organized crime sometimes overlapped, not just in backroom rumors but in real business partnerships. Sinatra's Lodge wasn't a seedy back alley club. It was a glamorous, high-end resort where famous faces rubbed elbows with men who controlled the flow of money in entire cities. And for a while, they all played the same game, in the same place, under the same roof. When you strip away the myths, the Cal Neva Lodge was exactly what it looked like, a beautiful escape in the mountains. But just beneath that surface, in the tunnels and in the investor lists, it was something more. It was a stage where Hollywood met the underworld, and where both sides got what they needed. For the stars, it was privacy and excitement. For the mob, it was a foothold in a place where the rules could be bent just enough to keep the cards, and the cash, flowing. Even now, decades later, the Cal Neva remains one of those places where history doesn't just live in books. It's in the architecture, in the stories passed down by staff and guests, and in the fact that a quiet lodge in the hills could once be one of the most talked about properties in the country, not because of what it advertised, but because of what it hid.